Hello Year 9, today what we're looking at is formulas and equations arising from substitution. So this is exercise 1104 and what you need to complete is questions 1 to 4 A, C, E, and then you can do G if you feel like it, but you need to do A, C, E, and then question 5 all parts. So what this exercise is doing is it's giving you an equation, and then what it's giving you also is in each part it'll give you different values for different variables or pronumerals, and you are then to find the value of one of the pronumerals that you haven't been given a value for. So I am going to do part B of each of these and show you how to do it. So for question 1, we've been given if V equals U plus AT, find. For part B, we've been asked to find A when V equals 40, U equals 10, and T equals 2. So what we've been asked to find here is A. So I'm going to highlight that in my formula. We've been given V equals 40. We have been given U equals 10. And then finally, we've been given that T equals 2. So I have simply just written this down, highlighted the parts that have been given, and each value is going to go into the highlighted part. Okay, so we have, I'm just going to write out the equation again and highlight again really quickly, just so it's clear where each of the values are going. Okay, so now we're going to substitute in. So for V, we know that V is worth 40. We know that U is worth 10, plus A is what we haven't been given. And the relationship between A and T is 2. So we're going to write, is times. So we're going to write times 2 because the value of T is 2. I'm then just going to rewrite this as 40 equals 10 plus A times 2 is 2A. Now, all we want to do is we want to solve this equation for A. So what we need to do is we want A by itself. So I'm going to get rid of the 10 by minusing it from both sides of our equation. Now, the reason why we minus the 10 from both sides of the equation is because right now it's positive and we want to eliminate the 10 by going 10 minus 10 to get a 0. So when we do that, we get 30 equals 2A. Now I want the A by itself, so I want to get rid of the 2, and how I do this is do the opposite of how the 2 is attached to the A, which is multiply, and the opposite of multiply is divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I'm therefore going to get A equals 15. Okay, we want to write the A on the left-hand side and the number on the right-hand side of our equation here. For question 2, we are given the formula that V equals AH all over 3, and we want to find H when V equals 12 and A equals 9. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to highlight the information that I have been given. So H is our unknown, and we know that A equals 3. And then I'm going to write out my equation before substituting it in, and I'm going to highlight one more time just so I know where all of my pieces of information are going. Okay, so we've been given that V equals 12. We've been given that A equals 9. Now the relationship between the A and the H is times. We don't know what our H is, so it's going to stay as a H, and we have divided by 3. So now what we want to do is we want to try and find H, and the first step to doing this is getting rid of the divided by 3. So we're going to multiply both sides of our equation by 3. 12 times 3 is 36 equals 9 times H. Now we want to remove the 9 from the H, so we have the H by itself. So we're going to divide both sides of our equation by 9, and here we get that 36 divided by 9 is what H will equal, which is 4. So therefore we get H equals 4. Now you could check your work as you could substitute, so we can check that we've done it correct, as we can substitute all these values in and both sides should equal each other. So if I went 12 equals 9 times 4 on 3, so 12 equals, in my calculator, if I went 9 times 12 all over 3, I get 12. So that means I'm correct. So you can check yourself and make sure that you are doing these correctly. For question 3, we have for the formula K equals a half mv squared. We want to find m when K equals 15 and V equals 3. So again, I'm going to highlight my values of what I have been given, and it doesn't matter which color we're highlighting. And then I'm going to write out my equation again. So I'm giving k equals a half mv squared, and again highlight just so I definitely know where my values are going. So if we substitute in our values, so I know that k equals 15 equals a half, and the relationship here is times our m, we don't know what our m is, times our v squared, so 3 squared. So I have 15 equals a half times m squared, m times what 3 squared is, which is 9. Okay, and then I'm just going to first get rid of my half. So to get rid of my half, I'm going to times my half by my 9. So when I do that, I get 15 equals a half times 9 is 9 over 2 times my m. So I'm going to get rid of my denominator of 2 here by timesing both sides by 2. And when I do that, I get 30 equals 9 times m. And then I want to divide by my 9. When I divide by my 9, I therefore get that my m equals 30 divided by 9 is 10 over 3 as a fraction, or it's 3.3 repeater as a decimal. Finally, for question 4, we have been given that a equals a half h bracket x plus y, and we want to find x when a equals 20, h equals 8, and y equals 2. So again, I'm going to highlight my values that I have been given in my question and match them up with the letters in my equation. So we've got 4 variables this time. I'm then going to write out my equation again. So a equals a half h bracket x plus y, and highlight one last time just to make sure that I know where my values are going. My x. Okay, so I know that my a is my yellow, which is 20, equals a half times my h, which is 8, bracket my x, I don't know, plus my y, which is 2. So the first thing I'm going to do here is go, what is a half times 8? So we have 20 equals a half times 8 is 4, bracket x plus 2. Now what I'm going to do is I don't want that 4 there, so I'm going to divide both sides by 4. When I do that, I get 5 equals bracket x plus 2. Now we can also choose not to write our brackets here as we have nothing left timesing into it. What I then want to do is get rid of my plus 2, so I take it away from both sides, and therefore I get x equals 3. Now remember, we can check, so we get 20 equals a half times 8, bracket our 3 plus 2. If I was to put a half times 8 bracket 3 plus 2 into my calculator, I get 20. So 20 equals 20, so that is correct. Now the last question that you are to do is question 5. Now question 5 is just all different formulas and different variables that you are going to substitute in to find what they're asking. So question 5 is a combination of pretty much all of the skills that you have practiced in questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you are still stuck with question 5, please send your teacher an inbox and ask for some extra assistance.